We guarantee that the following structures will astound you just as much as our prior videos for man-made wonders of the world did. Now let's start the man-made travel wonders of the world in 2022 Part 3. Hello and welcome to Luxury Premier, the ultimate destination for dreamers pursuing insight. And if you're here with us, it's not a coincidence that you are watching this video. Here in Luxury Premier, we only want what is best for you. May our videos inspire you and hope that all of your dreams may come true. The Great Wall of China. It's the world's largest man-made structure. The entire route is nearly 20,000 kilometers and winds from the east seaside to the west desert in northern China. The Great Wall runs from the Bohai Sea to the Gobi Desert, 2,500 kilometers to the west. The route has 15 key passes. First, Emperor Qin Shi Huang linked ancient fortresses, walls, and earthworks in 220 BC. The Great Wall is a comprehensive defense system that includes beacon towers, barriers, barracks, garrison stations, and fortifications. The Great Wall is a multi-material monument. Most pieces we see now were made with bricks and cut stone blocks and lime mortar. Instead of bricks and blocks, locals utilized tamped soil, uncut stones, and wood. Shanghai Pass, a Ming Dynasty castle, is the first pass in East China. Bohai Bay is 305 kilometers from Beijing, outside Qinhuangdao. It's the first pass under heaven. Due to its strategic location, Jiayu Pass was the Great Wall's first border garrison in the Ming Dynasty. Jiayu Pass is the best preserved Great Wall pass. One of China's 4 greatest love legends, Lady Mingjiang's husband, never returned from building the Great Wall. She left to bring him winter clothes but heard he'd died. She cried so hard a wall collapsed. Some say General Qi Jiguang wrote on the bricks to appraise the soldiers' work and clarify responsibilities. Historiographers disagreed. The Great Wall is a feat of engineering built over 2,000 years. It reflected interactions between agricultural and nomadic civilizations. The Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower, the French Tour Eiffel, Parisian landmark and architectural marvel. The French government organized a competition for a monument to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the French Revolution. The Centennial Committee chose Gustave Eiffel's plan from 100 submitted. Eiffel's idea of a 300-meter tower made of open lattice, wrought iron attracted shock, skepticism, and artistic resistance. When finished, the tower was the exposition's entrance. It was twice as tall as St. Peter's Dome in Rome or the Great Pyramid of Giza. The tower was built in 2 years, between 1887 to 1889, with a small labor force and at low cost. Eiffel used his profound knowledge of metal arch and metal truss loading behavior to design a light, airy, yet powerful construction that revolutionized civil engineering and architectural design. After opening on May 15, 1889, it was aesthetically vindicated. The Eiffel Tower is made up of 4 tapering lattice girder piers. As the piers curve inward, 2-level girder networks provide viewing platforms for tourists. The tower's 4 semicircular arches serve no structural purpose and are simply decorative due to their unique shape, dictated partly by engineering considerations and partly by Eiffel's artistic sense. The piers required elevators to ascend on a curve. The glass cage machines designed by the Otis Elevator Company of the United States became one of the building's principal features, helping establish it as one of the world's premier tourist attractions. The tower is 300 meters high. It has a 5-meter high base and a 324-meter high tower with a TV antenna, which is 1,063 feet. The Chrysler Building in New York City surpassed the Eiffel Tower in 1929. Stonehenge. Stonehenge is one of the most famous monuments in the world, standing proudly on Salisbury Plain in southern England. Every year, well over 1 million people visit the site, and the number is growing, especially with the opening of a new visitor center. Yet, because there is no written record of the structure's construction or significance, we can only hypothesize about its origins and significance. As a result, Stonehenge has always been a subject of speculation, from the first recorded travelers to today's today's archaeologists and academics. As we view it, the site consists of a jumble of stone uprights, some topped with lintels, and their fallen comrades, all set within a low, circular earthwork. Because you can't enter the stone circle during regular business hours, most people only see it from afar, tantalizing, enigmatic, and out of reach. The Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal, an enormous white marble mausoleum built in Agra between 1631 and 1648 by order of Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan in memory of his favorite wife, is India's gem of Muslim art and one of the world's most recognized masterpieces. The Taj Mahal is located in the Agra district of Uttar Pradesh on the right bank of the Yamuna River amid a large Mughal garden that spans almost 17 hectares. It was created in honor of Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan's wife Mumtaz Mahal, with work beginning in 1632 AD and ending in 1648 AD, with the mosque, guest house, and the main gateway on the south, and the outer courtyard and its cloisters added later in 1653 AD. The existence of various historical and Quranic inscriptions in Arabic script has aided in determining the Taj Mahal's chronology. Masons, stone cutters, inlayers, carvers, painters, calligraphers, dome builders, and other artists were requisitioned from around the empire as well as Central Asia and Iran for its construction. The Taj Mahal's chief architect was Ustad Ahmad Lahori. The Taj Mahal is often regarded as the most significant architectural achievement in Indo-Islamic architecture. Its recognized architectural elegance is characterized by a rhythmic combination of solids and voids, concave and convex surfaces, and light shadow, arches, and domes add to the visual appeal. The monument is showcased in continually shifting colors and moods thanks to the color combination of lush green scape, reddish road, and blue sky above it. It is distinguished by its relief work in marble and inlay with precious and semi-precious stones. The Great Pyramids at Giza. The Giza pyramids, designed to last forever, have done just that. The massive tombs date back to Egypt's Old Kingdom era and were built 4,500 years ago. In the afterlife, Egypt's pharaohs were expected to become gods. They built temples to the gods and gigantic pyramid tombs for themselves to prepare for the next world, which was loaded with everything each monarch would need to govern and maintain himself in the next world. Around 2,550 BC, Pharaoh Khufu began the first Giza Pyramid project. His Great Pyramid, which stands 481 feet above the plateau, is the largest in Giza. Each of the estimated 2.3 million stone blocks weighs between 2.5 and 15 tons. Pharaoh Khafre, Khufu's son, erected the second pyramid at Giza in 2520 BC. The Sphinx, a mystery limestone monument with the body of a lion and the head of a pharaoh, was also part of his necropolis. The Sphinx may serve as a sentinel for the entire pharaoh's tomb complex. The Giza Pyramid's third structure is significantly smaller than the first two. It was built around 2490 BC by Pharaoh Mengar and featured a much more sophisticated funerary temple. Each gigantic pyramid is part of a bigger complex that also includes a palace, temples, solar boat pits, and other structures. The Statue of Liberty. Frenchman Edouard de Le Boullay proposed giving the U.S. a significant gift in 1865. Le Boullay, an ardent American admirer, wanted to commemorate the Declaration of Independence and celebrate France and America's close friendship. He was also moved by the U.S. recent abolition of slavery, which promoted liberty and freedom. Frederick August Bartholdi attended Le Boullay's announcement. Like Le Boulay, Bartholdi began conceiving liberty enlightening the world. Bartholdi's design included many symbols, her crown representing light with her spikes conjuring sun rays, the plaque written with July 4, 1776 in Roman numerals, recognizing American freedom, a broken shackle and chains at the statue's foot symbolizing the end of slavery. Lady Liberty has always been about fundraising and community. It started with financing this exceptional project. France would create and assemble the statue in the US, while Americans Americans would fund and build the pedestal. France raised money using public fees, entertainment, and a lottery. Benefit theatrical events, art exhibitions, auctions, and prize fights were conducted in the US to finance the pedestal. Emma Lazarus authored The New Colossus for an auction in 1883. Despite efforts, pedestal fundraising was slow. Joseph Pulitzer ran an ad in the New York World in 1885 to spur public action. Pulitzer published donors' names in exchange. 120,000 people donated over $100,000, securing the statue's pedestal. Bartholdi needed an engineer in France to help with the sculpture's structure. Alexander Gustave Eiffel designed the statue's huge iron pylon and secondary skeletal system before building the Eiffel Tower. In 1884, France finished building the statue. The huge sculpture rose tall above Paris's rooftops before setting sail. In the same year, architect Richard Morris Hunt was chosen to create the statue's granite pedestal. Times Square. Times Square, Manhattan, is the intersection of 7th Avenue, 42nd Street, and Broadway. Times Square is the center of the theater district, bounded by 6th and 8th Avenues to the east and west, and 40th and 53rd Streets to the south and north. At the start of the 20th century, a number of outstanding theaters opened on 42nd Street. By the second decade of the century, Times Square and Broadway had become the country's most famous entertainment center, due in part to the square's central location and a big subway station beneath it. During this time, it was nicknamed World's Crossroads. Broadway became synonymous with American theater, especially musicals. As the Great Depression intensified, Times Square theaters closed and were converted to movie theaters. The neighborhood became squalor in the 20th century. In the 1960s and 1970s, it became a sleazy adult entertainment and crime hub. Times Square's recovery in the 1990s is largely linked to Mayor Rudy Giuliani and the Disney Company. After the 1920s advent of neon signs, Times Square became the premier American site for enormous, bright electric signage and advertising. The Times Zipper began using 14,800 light bulbs in 1928. The square's most iconic signs depicted a steaming coffee cup and a cigarette-smoking man blowing steam-generated smoke rings. Since the late 20th century, Times Square tenants have been compelled to display eye-catching signs, thus the area is always flashing. And that's all for the man-made wonders in the world. Thank you for staying with us in our 3 covered videos. Today, we hope you learned something new that you will remember for the rest of your life. We'd like to thank everyone who has stayed with us this far, despite the fact that we have never met. Please know that we respect and admire you for choosing to be here today. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us, dreamers. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos.